Hello. Evidently, I'm in now.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, I had to answer message, something about recording this Zoom call.
Yeah, you have to click the got it button.
Well, this has the new Apple uh, 17.4 iOS. I just put it on a few minutes ago, and things are just they've changed. Well, anyway, let's see if I can get the video on. Oh, there's the video now.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So it looks like I'm kind of up and running at this point.
Yeah, if programmers aren't changing anything, they're not worth their being what they're being paid.
No, they've made it very difficult, and they've tried to add so many new features too, and security's such a problem. If you notice on Facebook, did Dennis invite you to be his friend?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, and periodically I get one from Linda too.
Oh, you do? I don't think I've got one from Linda. Her Facebook page is still up there, though.
Yeah. So I
Um,
figure if they're trying to contact me from the beyond, maybe I should pay attention.
yeah, yeah. I sent a text message to Joyce to let her know, and she said, yeah, somebody else had contacted her too. Um, so, anything new?
No, nope, not much at all.
Yeah, I've been redoing my signaling here. Um, JMRI, the signal mast, they have a held and a dark button, which I finally figured out from the panel editor. If you turn those on, it doesn't change the physical lights, which is what I was wanting. So I'm rewriting my logic for the virtual signal mast to ignore CTC held or CT or the dark on and off. But the physical mast, the one that actually has LEDs hooked to it, I'm adding those in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because the reason I wanted to do that was I wanted to see what the aspects were, ignoring the CTC held and the dark on and off, lit on and off. So anyway, I've been going through doing that and redoing some logic too. It's a ball buster. It just with LCC, it just takes a lot of doing.
Mm-hmm.
So RR Circuit says new node out now,
Oh,
that they're using, um, and I've forgotten the exact. It's more like a programming, or like you'd use in industrial equipment. I'm going to say IPL, but I'm not sure that's right or not. Anyway, in the logic, you now can write um, sentence, so to speak, where um, a certain symbol will mean and another symbol or, and instead of selecting all the different things in the LCC node cell logic, you will write a formula.
mm-hmm.
So Dick's come out with that, um, because the costs are like $60 a node. I'm not going to replace mine. I got enough nodes already just do what I want to do with them. So, and been playing around with ESU lock sound, um, doing different things where you push the headlight button and the front headlight comes on, you push it again, and the front and rear headlights come on, You push the headlight button again, and just the rear headlight comes on.
Neat.
Yeah, they've added some logic in um, the light outputs now. The physical light outputs you can uh, check for a case and then turn them on or off based on. So anyway, using the FO key or the headlight key, you can cycle through without having the sound file, which is what Rapido originally was. The scale trains of Rapido that had the class lights that if you kept hitting the same function key, you'd go from green to red to off. But with block sound, they use a sound file to do that. But now you can do it without going in and configuring a sound file. So just stuff like that keeps me busy, out of trouble sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. You have a Loc Sound programmer?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The latest, I think there's two of them. The older one was in a blue box. I've got I've had this newer one for several years now, but I think it's the current version. And it's kind of cool. I downloaded a file. A guy had written a sound file, and you load it into the decoder, and it's a sweep tone. And I've got the Radio Shack sound decibel meter. So and I have a frequency counter. So as it sweeps, I can see what the response is from the different speakers and so on. Even though my hearing's getting so crappy, I don't know why I'm doing it.
Because it's there.
Yeah, it's there. After riding 250,000 miles on a motorcycle and shooting guns and going to concerts, it's amazing I can hear anything. And I'm old, so yeah.
Yeah. I was with lunch with a couple of guys today, and we had discussion about the issue. One of them had gotten I don't remember their in scale. I don't remember which models, but he wasn't able to. He thought the sound was too loud. He was wondering how to adjust it. He didn't have the programmer. And
Yeah.
he said a Digitrack system with the was a PTB booster or whatever, with or without, still had trouble with them. So another friend
Yeah.
is going to bring over a portable programmer, and they'll play with that.
Well, if you get simple things to change on a Loc Sound decoder, just download the programmer software. You don't need the hardware, and you can make a change, and then it'll tell you what CVs you need to change, or go the JMRI route too. But the easiest one is probably just download the free Loc Sound programmer software and then make your changes on it. And then you just, in your NCE throttle, just put them in, programming on main or whatever. But so, yeah, Loc Sound's doing some pretty neat stuff. I just can't get them to play well with Soundtrack. And vice versa. The Soundtrack's good and it's popular, but it's just kind of hard to get the two to run together smoothly, because on the Loc Sound, I like the delay feature where you throttle it up and the locomotive doesn't move for several seconds while the prime mover ramps up, and does stuff like that. And I don't think I have a way of doing that with the Soundtrack, the Tasami 2s that I have. And if I could do it, I'd still have to set a delay in the amount of seconds before the Soundtrack would start moving. I don't think I've found that secret yet. So So you guys got a big show coming up pretty soon, Rocky Mountain
Train show,
show.
yes. Well,
You gonna you gonna go to that?
um, I'm looking at my calendar. I think it's like the 6th, 7th of April, 6th and 7th, something like. Haven't decided yet. It's down at the Western Stock Show Coliseum, and that's always a kind of a mess to get down there.
Because of parking or just
Yeah, they they I haven't been down there. They claim that they've made the parking free, but when I've been down there, because they charge so much for it, people are parking on the side streets. And in order, if you wanted to get the free parking, you had to walk like a quarter of a mile or something.
wow,
Yeah, all the side streets were jammed. And, if somebody else wants to go down, I'll probably go down.
sure.
I was at the one that they did in Loveland in November, I think that it was. It wasn't a bad show.
Yeah, I doesn't your club have something coming up too?
The what?
Your club that you're president of?
No, our next one is our expo is in December.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, so you had one a month or so ago. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You have good turnout for that.
yeah. Several thousand people came through. I don't
Yeah.
remember the exact number. Yeah, we have pretty good turnout.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Well, we do it in conjunction with the Rock and Mineral Society. So, the husbands go look at the trains and the wives go look at the rocks. So it's in the
Okay.
same building. One ticket gets you into both.
Yeah. You've been working on cats a lot.
I had a hiatus on it for a little while. Um, there were some health things I had to go through. And then, I got another friend who's working on a, website for the, LDSig. And he was trying to learn, PHP and WordPress and some of that kind of stuff. He was totally lost. So he said, can you help me here? And I'd done a little bit of WordPress and a little bit of PHP, but not to the extent that these guys are doing. So I've been phoning up on how to do WordPress and PHP and forums and things like that. That's been
Yeah.
kind of interesting. It's neat because I've got the Raspberry Pi and I can put everything I need on the Raspberry Pi and just, VNC to it and go to work, just learning and experimenting and trying this and trying that.
Yeah. I bought the mini PC for like $250 from Geek Geek Me, and it works really well. And mainly, the reason I bought it uses 35 watts of power. It's a Windows 11 Pro, and but I could access Dropbox, so all my JMRI files are on the cloud and Dropbox, and it could access them. Before, with the Raspberry Pi, I'd have to go and download the files and try to keep them updated. And because I was doing the panels and doing the rosters and making a lot of changes, Raspberry Pi just wasn't keeping up.
Yeah.
So if they'd come up with a way to have Dropbox work on the Raspberry Pi, uh, I could go back to Raspberry Pi. I think the other thing I didn't like about the Raspberry Pi, there's no software off.
No what?
There's no way to shut it down.
Oh yeah, right.
And that always kind of worried me, pulling the plug on it, power plug, and just have it die on its own that way. So uh, through the years, I there was a couple of times I had to take out the SD card and redo the get Steve Todd's,
Mhm.
you know, image off of the JMRI, and which is a wonderful thing. It's really pretty amazing to me. These guys really put a lot of work and effort. Well, you do too yourself, to get all this stuff up and running, and they try to keep it, up to date as possible. I don't know about the younger generation if they're going to be interested in keeping things. It is like so many things. You only got a couple of guys really do a lot of the work, and everybody else benefits.
Mhm.
But
Well, there is a software shutdown on the Pi.
that'll, yeah, yeah. Did Steve Todd incorporate that into his image?
Yeah, it's under the
Maybe the last version or so.
it's been there most of the time. I forget which icon, but it's one of the standard Raspberry Pi icons, and you can shut down or reboot or log off. It gives you
Okay,
those three options.
yeah. Um, yeah, I was always just worried about something sitting out there that didn't get written to the SD card
Yeah.
when I powered things off, and occasionally I'd have problems. Been had a problem on the Windows. I have two Windows 11, one laptop, then I have this mini PC, and of course finding the right damn driver for the NCE Power Pro 5 was a struggle. And so after I found the right driver, then a month or two later, now they're talking about on the NCE groups.io where to find the driver. And it's not from NCE. NCE tells people you got to stay with Windows 10. So it's strange world.
Yeah, that's going to last only for a little while longer.
Yeah, yeah. Until I've got two PCs that I'll not be able to upgrade to Windows 11 when Microsoft decides it's time to boot us off. Then probably will be. But you must run into that too. I see on forums guys that still have Windows XP Pro and some old Windows 8, Windows 7, the old stuff like that. How,
Hmm.
how can how can anybody expect stuff to work with that old software?
It reaches a point where it won't. Well, a lot of course, is driven by JMRI, because
Yeah,
JMRI, and every time, um, they have to decide, do we go to a more recent version of Java or no? And usually this deciding factor is the next, does this version of Java have stuff in it that we feel like we could really like to use? And if the answer is no, they've tended to skip it. And the answer is yes, then they'll require that everybody convert. And so that then is going to force people, because there is one version of Java 8, or you can get Java 8 for XP, but I don't think you need anything after that for XP. So
yeah,
XP is going to die.
yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, some of these guys have had developed stuff 10 years ago, and they're afraid to upgrade the Java or upgrade JMRI. Things start falling apart on them.
Yeah.
But and they do. I that NCE connection, the serial, the USB connection. I see they just redid that on JMRI too.
Yeah.
And that I didn't know if I was fighting with that problem or what problem there for a while, but I got it figured out. Unfortunately, occasionally I have to unplug the USB serial, the USB cord from the mini PC and plug it back in, and then it works. Yeah, I know. I've gone through all the settings like on the USB port, you can tell it to don't don't go to sleep, stay on, powered on all the time. So I just haven't find either I don't have the right driver, although I have the latest driver. I've got like three different drivers of different versions I was playing around with. I delete, do a new Windows driver, one of the three, and it worked for a while and then goof up again. So, no. Windows is kind of a touchy thing when it comes to USB. At least with the Raspberry Pi, I had no problems once I figured out which USB port I was plugged into.
Yeah, right.
Because why is there so many weird like TTY? That's that's the old style stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Blame the VAX. What was the PDP? Oh, I'm sorry, PDP-11 what they developed Unix on, and the VAXs and that kind of stuff, because that's how many. Those were the serial ports that those guys had. So you had
Oh,
to have all those ports and stuff for all the stuff on the mainframes.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, stuff never dies. It's you get that stuff in there and you can't get rid of it. It's like, the, you got a storage track in your yard called the coal lead, and there's no coal in sight. Why? Well, because 100 years ago, that's where loaded up your coal. And the name's stuck, and it's can't get rid of it.
Well, it's been a tough winter for Amtrak.
Mm,
My God, accidents, the weather. Um, Boy, it's not unusual to see 8 hour delay on either the Southwest or the limit, the Fort Madison train, or 8 hours, or canceled on the Mount Pleasant train.
mhm.
It's just crazy. A lot of accidents. Um, and then the weather getting bad too. But I see Winter Park, they're running the ski train now up through Moffett Tunnel.
Yeah, it can't run much longer because we're into March. They'll
Yeah,
shut down soon.
we had a 80-degree day a couple of days ago. It's nuts. Our winter didn't amount to maybe 2 weeks of cold and wind and snow, but that was it. The winter was real short. Um, Windy. In fact, today I had to have the heating company, come out and work on my chimney. The wind was blowing so hard, it actually bent the damn chimney. And what I'm talking about is a galvanized pipe, maybe 14 inches in diameter, with another pipe in the center, and then for heat and everything. Anyway, I had this place built in '96 and never had any trouble till this last couple of weeks. So pipe had got bent over coming out of the roof, and they got it fixed. We shortened it down because I'd went from a wood burning fireplace to gas fireplace, so a couple of years back.
Mhm.
Burning wood just kind of got out of favor with me. I'd bring wood in from outside. Pretty soon I'd see a wasp flying around.
Yeah, they
Once the
do
wood
that.
warmed up, there'd be a wasp in there flying.
Yeah,
And just the ashes, cleaning up the ashes and all that stuff. Kind of got just not equipped to do it anymore.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
we had 50s, 60s for the last few days, and then something snuck in, and it's down in the 30s, and it's kind of doesn't know if it wants to be rain or snow or what. So we've got our bad day.
Yeah, but you didn't get a lot of snow though, did you?
No, we haven't had that that big foot deep snow that we usually get. But
Yeah,
we still got a couple months we can get one.
yeah. Well, I don't know. It's so warm. In fact, um, the crew that takes care of the grounds here, they came around and pulled out the stakes that were for the snow plows, to define where your driveway was at. So even those snowplow people didn't seem to pay any attention to them. But so they came around and picked those up today. Yeah. So as far as the grounds crews involved, winter's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just lulling us into a state of complacency. We're we're so good for another good blast or two.
Yeah. Yeah. So on your on cats, when you on a CP control point, when you turn off the CTC held, then you press a button and send a code, right? I mean, once you've set the direction and once you've set turnout, close or thrown, and then you set the direction, then you push code button. Is that how that works?
No, it's simpler than that. The code button is integrated into setting the direction or the throwing the turnout. So in other
Oh,
words, when you click on the turnout, that both that's equivalent. Okay, on a real machine, you got a knob,
yeah,
and the knob doesn't do anything until you push the code button.
right. Okay.
Okay, and so with the CRT screen, when you click on it, that's equivalent to turning the knob and pushing the code button.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't real sure because in this redoing of stuff, I've got one master CTC, which is a held on, held off. But then at each CP point, I have another button so that I can turn just that control point off so that the mechanical switches on the layout will turn the turnouts. Without this button pressed, or but because what I didn't have, I had a CTC held, but on the physical layout, you could still change the turnout. So I wanted to change that so that when the CTC is held, I couldn't make the turnouts move. And I had not incorporated that in the past before. I hadn't even thought about it. But I know these guys get into it and they actually have physical locks and stuff to be able to. So anyway, that's part of what I've been redoing is so that if I do incorporate CTC, that the person in the layout room can't change the turnouts. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that, and I didn't, and I wanted to be able to see the signals ignoring the CTC or the darkness, um, which I had to play around with the JMRI signal mask. So I finally figured out the CTC held on the JMRI signal mask overrides the darkness, lit or unlit, I should say. If you've got a CTC held on that signal mast and you uh, turn the lit unlit, it doesn't change. On the signal mast that I'm using from JMRI.
Usually lit unlit is totally orthogonal. It there's no there is no connection between the aspect red, whatever, and lit or unlit.
Well, on the control panel, the JMRI control panel, if CTC is held, you can't make that signal mask dark by lit or unlit. It takes the priority. It took me a while to figure this out, and I'm using the Western Pacific signal mast, 1974 or something like that.
That's funny because I would not expect that.
Yeah, I didn't expect it either. But my goal was to be able to. I didn't want to lose what the aspect of that control point was, because in the original coding, if the CTC held button was on, it would set it to stop or red or red or red, whatever. And I wanted to change that in the same way with lit or unlit. So anyway, I found a way to do it, but I do this virtual signal mast, and then I have the physical signal mast for that, which I incorporate. At that point, I incorporate the held and lit or not lit. But and I'm assuming that most JMRI signals are. I'm not using any logic from JMRI. I'm just using their signal mast as icons to be. So I'm assuming most of their signal masts are probably the same way.
Yeah, I would assume so too. I don't know. I haven't really dug around in that code very much.
Yeah. Well, there's no code. It's just put the signal mast on the control panel. Then you set for LCC, then you just set the events that make it red or make it yellow or flashing red, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, lot of things, but like I said, time goes pretty fast. You know how it is. You get programming, and you can spend a full day and not even realize it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Well, any big changes?
No,
And
no, I've been playing around with the route stacking algorithm a little bit. And so I came out with what I thought was the way it worked, and I got quite a few people were saying, "Well, you need to work it a little bit different." The way I had is there was just pure sequential order, in which somebody says, I want to stack this route, and then this one, then this one, then that one." And the way I worked it originally was that the first one had to execute, so to speak, set up all the signals before you do the second, then the third, then the fourth. And the problem is you could have one stack involving signals on one end of the layout and the second stack involving on the other end of the layout. There's no overlap between them. And the second one wouldn't go till the first one did. So now and I said, yeah, that's not right. So I figured out, I think it's a pretty clever way that that now if they don't overlap, then they have no overlapping signals, then it can go if it doesn't overlap with any signals of a higher an earlier stacked route.
now, is this the way it was done 30, 40 years ago by mechanical relays?
No.
Oh, it's the way it's done nowadays with computers.
I'm not sure.
Oh,
And the
okay.
reason I say I'm not sure is because I don't have any really recent manuals or descriptions of it, anything like that. So I'm just kind of inferring what I see on people's discussions and some of the various user groups and things like that.
Yeah, because you've got some professional people that have used that equipment in real life, don't you?
Yeah,
And they're giving you the feedback on,
yeah,
but I would assume that's fairly modern
yeah,
equipment because it'd be pretty hard to do that with the old relay system.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because my main resource was some videotape we took. It's hard to believe it was in 1997, so that was 27 years ago. And I don't think I saw any stacking involved. There may have been, but it wasn't like somebody went through and said, "Here's how you work all this stuff." It was we got into the dispatch center and one of the other guys just had a video camera and just recorded what the dispatchers were doing. So they did what they could, and so you get a really quick glimpse of a pop-up menu screen, and when you play it back, you can stop it and kind of say, "Okay, I think I know what this did," and that, so forth. Yeah, it was all relay based. There was no.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think that they'd already gone to computers by 97 because one guy was demonstrating something. It was an automatic mode, and somehow the computer knew where the train was supposed to go, and he just said, "Okay, I'm going to put it in automatic." He just sat and watched the whole machine. It would set the signals and throw the turnouts, all that
Wow.
kind of stuff. And he was just babysitting it basically.
Yeah. Back in the 70s, Charlie Holmes and I went to Omaha for uh, must have been an NMRA show, and one of the side trips was to the Union Pacific Dispatch Center. At that time, they'd built a bomb-proof, tornado-proof bunker underground, and I it would be pretty antique compared to nowadays. But there's a lot of TV monitors, the old CRT type monitors. Of course, in the 70s, you didn't have flat screens and everything, and a lot of dispatchers in that building because they had natural gas. They had generators all over the place. Just and I don't know what Union Pacific does now for dispatch, but that was pretty impressive back in the 70s.
Oh yeah. We got a tour of it. I want to say 2010 or thereabouts, where the Mid-Continent region had a convention in Council Bluffs,
Oh,
and we were able to get into we call it the bunker. Yeah.
yeah.
And now they've gone to flat screens. But the videotape I have also has a big CRTs thing. They weren't your normal Sony or RCA or whatever TV CRTs, because they're much higher resolution. It's clear.
Oh,
Because when I started writing this stuff, that was, I think I may have had one flat panel, but it was, 480 by 640 or something like
yeah.
that.
They were pretty bad.
You just didn't have enough pixels. You could do anything with them. It was clear these guys had much, much higher resolution screens.
Yeah, and they let you take photos in that bunker.
No, no.
I was gonna say because even 1970, you had to leave all cameras out in another room,
Mm-hmm.
so you couldn't take photos.
Yeah. Well, okay. 1997, we had okay, yeah, the Rio Grande had their dispatch center was in downtown Denver. Then, they bought the SP, or the SP bought them, they merged, whatever they said.
Yeah.
And they moved the dispatch center, the SP dispatch center, and they merged it into they're consolidating them into Denver. They still had one, I think it was at Roseville, Illinois, or Roseville, California. And they may have had one or two others, but anyway, so then when the UP bought the SP Rio Grande, they still had the one in downtown Denver, and they hadn't moved it to Omaha yet. and we had, interest is, it's kind of fun because Doug Geiger had, a couple guys on his crew in UP dispatchers. That was a full-time job. They come up with his and run the model cranes. And so one of them got us in. That's how we got the tours. They were very informal, off hours type of tours. And one of them let Doug do photography, take a video camera in there and record the. So that's where I got my stuff.
Yeah. Okay. You know, Scott, my grandboy's dad, uh, here a couple of years back, when he was with Rockwell Collins, he was in charge of getting CRTs for the onboard plane displays. And so there's only one company and is in China that still makes vacuum tube CRTs, because once the equipment gets approved by the FAA, you can't substitute a flat screen for a CRT without getting it reapproved, which costs a lot of money. So he was still purchasing CRTs here a couple of years back. So because of the certification of the onboard electronics on the plane, they didn't want to pay to get them recertified.
Yeah.
So they had to keep coming up with the source for weird things like that for CRTs and other electronic components.
Yep. Yep.
Well, you got any trips coming up?
No, um, we're talking about, Liz and I are talking about going to Eureka Springs in October for her cousin's reunion.
Oh,
That's about the only thing that we're even thinking about. Haven't I haven't thought about really going to Long Beach for the National.
yeah. I see they changed the hotel too.
Yeah.
There's some confusion about that. Yeah, I'm not that interested in going to LA area for something like that. Where's it next year?
I want to say, I think it's up in Michigan, somewhere
Okay.
around Detroit, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
probably that would make sense.
Yeah, the only reason I've been even thinking, considering Los Angeles, Long Beach, is because the USS Iowa's anchor. That's where it's stored, is in Long Beach.
Oh, that's where it's docked? Is it still afloat?
Yeah.
Didn't they have to put a bunch of money into it because it was listing to one side or something? Yeah.
The #2 turret blew up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just kind of put it in the right place and call it good. Didn't try
Yeah.
to fix it up.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been on several of the battleships. I haven't been on an Iowa class yet. So,
Oh, cool.
but
Yeah, I think Grand Island has a Mid-American NMRA convention coming up.
oh, they've got a regional in MCOR region. Yeah,
It is a region. Okay.
yeah. Pat
But
was showing me the announcement on it earlier today.
yeah, it's well, we both know it's 400 miles.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought about that. Don't know. Really haven't done much. Like to get out and ride the motorcycle again. Had to send my seat in. It had 80,000 miles on my seat, motorcycle seat. So
Ooh.
I sent. Well, it's the seat I used to ride up to Alaska and back, and so I got it. It came in. I've got back on the bike now. I just got to wait till we get rid of some of the sand and maybe go out and try to do a little ride. It's been warm enough,
Mhm.
except it's been just so darn windy up till today. Today's fairly quiet day. But no, I don't have any plans. Would like to go up to Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont. Never been up there.
Mhm.
I'd like to go up. I have a friend who has a cabin on the St. Lawrence Seaway. Um, he's invited me up there to go up there and spend a day. Um, it'd be fun to see the
Supposed to be a
St.
nice area.
Yeah, he was born and raised in the state of New York, Binghamton, I think is where he
Mhm.
and his folks had a cabin. Then he inherited the cabin, so maybe do that. But well, we're about out of time.
Yep, doesn't look like anybody's gonna show up.
No, sorry about it. Took so long for me to
Oh,
get this thing figured out. I should have done the software update earlier in the day and then had time. Well, actually, I came up from downstairs because I couldn't get my older iPad to work at all. I was having problems with it, um, so I came upstairs using the newer one. But technology, you gotta love technology.
yeah.
Yeah, to a point. Yeah. So you use an AI to write your code now?
No. Um, yeah, that was another discussion we had this morning at lunch today, which is kind of interesting. Um,
Yeah.
um, if you followed on YouTube, Jim Ferentz has done some videos on the Colorado and Southern.
Jim who?
Ferentz, Ferenc.
I'll take a look at it on the actual Colorado and
No,
Southern.
no, his layout.
Uh, his layout. Okay.
Yeah, and he's enlisted some of his crew. He included as voices and faces and stuff for him. And his most recent one, I didn't. I'm in it, but I was never over there to record it because he had taken. I've been in two previous ones, and he had used AI to take my voice out of the two previous ones and change them for the script he needed for his new one.
Yeah.
And I could listen to it, and I couldn't, if I didn't know which words had been changed and inserted and deleted and all, I would not have known that that he had used AI on it. So
Wow. Yeah. Kind of scary stuff now with the political ads that are going to be coming out and all the crap. I mean, it's tough enough
yeah,
with the political stuff between now and November. But then you throw in the AI generated stuff, and it's going to be a mess.
yep.
Yeah,
Now I also one of the guys that out here works for Microsoft. He's been building his layout. He gave a talk to our club in February, but it was on his layout. And afterwards, we were talking. And he said, you know that you have AI on your Microsoft, your Windows machines now. If you
yeah.
look down in the right-hand corner, there's that little Copilot thing. And he says it's got some bugs in it, but it's pretty amazing what it can do. I haven't played with it at all.
I keep dismissing it when it pops up. The browser um, would jump me into just the Windows Edge browser would jump me into AI, and I was getting it seemed to me like I was getting less good results. It's like Siri on my iPhone hates me, and I hate her. So whenever I ask her for to do something, she never understands, and then I might as well be married to her because She just refuses to do what I ask. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about AI, especially for coding, because I, man, it could lead you down a, you know how coding is. It could lead you down a path that you might never recover from.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe it works for, the younger generation coming up, like Ty is working with the, because he had his experience on the helicopters, medical helicopters. So he got hired by a software firm to help as a consultant, and he seems to be enjoying it. Um, he did go to school for coding and stuff, so it seems to be working out for him. A lot less dangerous than flying in a helicopter.
Yeah, and all
Yeah,
kinds of weather and
yeah, it, yeah. That the people that do that, they've got to enjoy the adrenaline rush. It's not for me.
no, me neither.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yep,
let you go.
yep, you too.
Good chatting with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We will talk to you later.
Okay. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Now figure out how to get out of this. Oh, they've changed the stuff to pick from. It looks like they've added a whole bunch of new things: whiteboards, notes,
Mm-hmm.
captions, reactions.
I've got a big red leave button in the right-hand corner for me.
Yeah, I've got the small one. So, well, take care. Talk
Okay,
later.
you too.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
bye.
Mm-hmm.